to expect that the taxation that was being made of you was coming to an end in 1993. And then all of a sudden, you're being taxed some more. All of your money that you put into the kitty, as it came into the kitty, they put it in their back pocket and walked to the country.
Yeah.
And over the years, for those of you who've been around for all these years, what Sir Lyndon was talking about in 1968 is the fact that all of those canals, they were never ever built for the purposes of doing a subdivision. I need you to hear me carefully on this, you know. The canals, all through up in Bahama and all of the other one across the bridge and all of that, was never designed in the 50s to be a subdivision. Why would you sell expensive land on the canal for $10,000 and $15,000 and $20,000? Now I know that there's some position where Bahamians, when they're buying land, they're supposed to get it at half price and all that. But even if you say half price, it's still only $50,000 for what? Waterfront property?
Yes.
The point is, those canals were dug because it was a mining enterprise. The people came in here to get limestone. That's what those canals were dug for. That's why Bahama Rock, they ain't checking for y'all, they ain't hearing for y'all. They will blast until they reach to the core of the earth.
Yeah.
Because the limestone that is here in Grand Bahama is a different grade of limestone that they could find in Florida. You can fetch the highest price. Now, ask me how much money they're paying in royalties to the Bahamas government. Zero. That's part of what 1993 Act did. It allows them to take more. And then along comes Freeport Aggregates. Who is Freeport Aggregates? Y'all gotta look carefully at some of these things. Look very carefully at who some of the owners are. And if you look carefully at that, you will see that some of them are some of the people who are in Parliament now, who sit in the cabinet now, whose family have cut down hills in Nassau for limestone.
Yeah.
Y'all getting my drift?
Yeah.
I need to call no name. It happened, it is happening right under your noses. But the thing that makes that particular one bad is that it is being done in the middle of the mangroves, right off the airport. Many people don't know it's there. They hear of Freeport Aggregates, but you don't know where they dig it. Where they dig it. They're digging tons and tons and tons of fill, sending it out of the country, and they're getting high returns. You're getting nothing. Now, yes, they do hire some Freeporters and some Grand Bahamians generally. But the amount of people is amazing. When I have an opportunity, and I say when I have an opportunity because God promised me this particular opportunity, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to show you some things on picture. Where if you were to go where Bahama Rock is blasting and dredging and mining now, and you jump over that big little hill that you, when you pass in Liberty Highway, you know that the depth of that is about 10 stories deep. See, you don't see it because they don't want to shock you. So as they go deeper and deeper, they put that little hill higher and higher. So when you drive by, you ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
You get mad when they pushing things over the road or whatever, but that's fine. You put up with it because you say, well, this is just the way it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's not the way it needs to be. And the interesting thing is if it is that you understand what it is that is going on around you, and you put your foot down to insist that it stop, people will start to listen to you more. But certainly, I believe that the mining of limestone needs to move out of Freeport. And this is why it is so interesting, because there are a lot of people living in Freeport who are impacted negatively by the mining. So if you take it and you put it in East End or West End, then you can, because Freeport is huge, you can find places to do your mining where no one else is.
Yeah.
And you can make a policy decision that no one is to live within 5 miles of this thing for the next 20 years that the people are doing the mining. But if you were to take it outside of the boundary of Freeport, the Port Authority ain't making no money. They can't do that. And that's why they don't want it to be gone.
That's right.
That's why they don't want it to be gone. Because the answer is simply to move the mining out of Freeport. If it is that the act is passed to repeal the Freeport Act, then it is my view, and I suggest to you that we can say this to the convention so the convention could do for you what it is designed to do for you. Then you can say all mining is to be done by Bahamians, 100% Bahamian companies. That way your money can stay here. And even if that fellow who doing the mining up in the back there, at least he's Bahamian, but he has to disclose his interests.
Yes.
He has to disclose his interests. Then if we have to stop Freeport aggregates as well. Once we move that, I don't know if we have any fly fishermen in the room. But the whole thing of fly fishing in the Bahamas is a $500 million industry, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me carefully now. $500 million. Anyone who could scull a boat and throw a line could make a lot of money. This is where now we're getting into entrepreneurial activity for young people. The PLP could cause it to happen. The mangrove system that is around Grand Bahama is second only to one island in this country. That's Andros. Andros has almost 200 fly fishermen. Not one single one of them have financial problems. Because this is the industry, this is the sport of wealthy people. And the wealthy people in the United States, the first place for them to come is where the best waters are, which is here. Now I'm not talking about the beaches. Because in my view, and I say this very respectfully for those of you who work in the hotels, Freeport is not a touristic destination. This is not the kind of place that you come to say you can sit on the beach. Because then you can see when big tanker come in, they want to do LNG right across the way from where you have cruise ships coming in. And I'll backtrack a bit. I was negotiating with Mr. St. George so we could have real activity here. And he said, well, Keod, we really need to have this LNG. I said, well, I know why you want it. I said, but you'll have to promise some things. Different from what the government is going to charge you. You'll have to tell me that a certain percentage of your money is going to stay in Freeport for local industry. And I wanted him to move to port facilities on the other side of the island. And he agreed. But as God would have it, he decided to take him away. So that has gone to nothing. But my point about this whole industry is we have a lot of young men who love the sea, but they go out to the sea to do the wrong set of things. And I can tell you as an attorney, because a lot of them sometimes come to me. The reality is they can go there to do legitimate business and make a lot of money for their families. A lot. And it can be done in Grand Bahama immediately. So the monies that you take back from the port, that you all will have to take back from the port, I believe that what you should do is you encourage the Bahamas government to create a municipality. And by that what I mean is you have a city, rather than it being run by the port, it's being run by yourselves. The government should select or even have an election for a mayor of Freeport, where you have someone whose responsibility is Freeport. And I'm using Freeport, although I know some of you are from outside of Freeport, because Freeport is the hub for all intents and purposes. Although Ginn and some others were trying to do things in West End, etc., still, Freeport is where it's at for the industry and the business is supposed to be. These are some of the things that you can go to convention and ask the convention to pass or to seriously consider so that you can do what you need to do. And in my view, that mayor, that is M-A-Y-O-R, the mayor of Freeport is to do the business and the task of the people here. And if it is that he does the wrong thing, then he is not re-elected to his position. But you're taking it to a different level. You're not simply going to say, oh, wait a minute, we want to have a minister. Now, let me backtrack a bit, because One of the reasons why I'm talking about this, I should have